guys, Sean C. Phillips here on the brand new DVD Blu-ray Tuesday shopping video today. Taking to go out, see what things come out today, see what things are on sale. I know one of the big things that released today was the film Wonder, and I believe there's a Target exclusive edition of that one. I don't think there's any other exclusives for that one. I'm pretty sure it's just the Target, which has like an exclusive like bonus disc in that. And also, you know, one of the other things that releases today was the new Hellraiser film, Hellraiser Judgment, and I'm also going to have a review of that one, you know, at the end of this video, as well as a couple other DVDs and Blu-rays that I received a review and talk about for you guys. So definitely stay tuned for those at the end of this video. But today though, there's two different things I'm going to try and find. One thing, Walmart will hopefully have it. They usually have the titles that are from this company, so hopefully they have that. And then also there's one thing that's going to be at Barnes & Noble that I want to get, so hopefully they have that one as well. The price isn't like absolutely amazing for it, but I found this one coupon that they have that's like for like this week only, so it'll probably be about like the exact same price as ordering it on Amazon. But anyway though, guys, let's get going and see what we can find today. Into Target we go. And like I said though, the big release today, you know, was Wonder, and they have their exclusive edition, which is $19.99, the same price as the standard Blu-ray. And this one is exclusive 3-disc set. It includes 30 minutes of exclusive bonus content on this one, as well as the different slipcover on that. Other than that though, this one released today, the new Denzel Washington film, which, you know, he's nominated for a Best Actor for this one as well. But if you guys have seen this one, let me know how this one is. And last week I totally forgot to mention that Suburbicon released as well. That's one I totally missed over because I forgot that released that week. But over here though, there's some new TV that released. This one released today, the James Franco HBO show, The Deuce. That one came out today, as well as I think Broad City may have been today, as well as this Jessica Biel show called The Sinner. I'm pretty sure this one's only on DVD. This is one, I don't know anything about this one at all. If you guys have seen this one though, let me know though how this show is. And over here though in the kids section, I wanted to mention this released today as well, the Hey Arnold, the Jungle movie, which I talked about this one last week, and I actually really liked this, and it was cool to hear like majority of the the characters back, the original voice actors. You know, some of them were different in it, but still it was like the same vibe and everything, and you know, continues the story where like the show pretty much left off, and you finally find out, you know, what happened to Arnold's parents. But I actually really like that, and really can't wait though to see the new Rocco movie when that one airs. Into the Valley Thrift Store we go. And in here though, there's tons of stuff. You can see it on the bottom. It's totally stacked up. I've never seen this much stuff in here. There's like even more down there. So I'm gonna have to really look through all this and see. I haven't been here for a couple weeks, like maybe even a month or so. And I found this one here, brand new copy of that Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory with Tom and Jerry. I always sort of wanted to watch this when this came out. It was out like maybe 2 months ago, something like that, but a brand new sealed copy for $3 is not bad at all for this. Like, I know it's kind of cringy, but sort of did want to see that, but gonna have to really look through here though and see if there's anything different here today, because like I said, there's a whole lot of stuff, so I definitely have to really check through all this stuff. And like I think like a month back I missed one thing that everyone said that I missed. It was like a Sean Connery movie, and it was worth like $60 on Blu-ray, so I doubt that one's still here. But like I said, gonna look through here and I'll show you guys if I see anything interesting in here. But like I said, a lot of stuff to go through. But in there though, I ended up getting that Tom and Jerry. It was $3 sealed. It was one I sort of wanted to see. I know it was kind of cringy, but I did want to sort of see it. And I got this weird thing with this guy with these puppets. It's like AX television. I don't know anything about it, but it looked really strange. It was $2, but looks like a really strange thing. Like the guy might have been selling himself or something. I always like these kind of strange things, like him making puppets or something. Really, really peculiar. Into Walmart we go. And I have to cross my fingers and hope they have the one thing in here. They should, I believe, but you know, hopefully they do. But the thing I'm trying to find is the remake of the film Inside. So let's see, hopefully they've got it. And I can actually see it right there. This was the main thing that I wanted to get today. Also though, there's something still at Barnes & Noble to get. But you know, this is the remake of the film Inside, which I really, you know, like the original film. It was a very brutal, like, you know, crazy movie. But you know, I saw there's some mixed reviews on this, but still really, really did want to see this. But some of the other things though they released in here today was, like I said, Wonder, and they have the 4K edition. That one's only $22.96. So it's pretty cool that the 4Ks now now are going way down in price for a lot of things, because the standard Blu-ray is $18.96. But this really was a great movie, though, and highly recommend you guys check this one out. And they have Hellraiser Judgment here. I don't think they have the Blu-ray of this. It only seems to be the DVD. It is really weird, though, how some stuff, when they have a DVD and Blu-ray, they only ever get the DVD of it. And this one released today as well, the Ballard of Lefty Brown, as well as the new Takashi Miike film. Pretty sure this was his movie here. Yeah, and it was called Blade of the Immortal. If you guys have seen this one, though, let me know how this one was. And they also have the Hey Arnold movie here, the Hey Arnold Jungle movie for $12.96. And this one here called Flint, which I don't know much about that one. If you guys have seen that one, though, let me know how that one was. But, you know, definitely, though, like I said, I know this isn't going to be amazing, but definitely I'm interested in seeing this. And it's only $12.96, so not a terrible price on this. And one of the other things that released, and a lot of people have been asking me about, was the Friday the 13th collection. I don't see the Blu-ray of that, but I know I saw some pictures online of people finding the Blu-ray in here, I believe. But, you know, these had all gone out of print, the collection of these, and were really expensive, the one that was in the tin. But this doesn't include all of the movies. It only includes the first 8. And I think it's like $30 for the Blu-ray one, wherever they have that. But still, to get the first 8 of these is not a bad price. And I think you can get the other ones that aren't included in this pretty cheap, I believe. I'm not sure, though. But I ended up getting, you know, the inside one in there. And, you know, yeah, and the main actress in this, too, is in that one movie that I always like called P2. Hopefully, at some point, that one, you know, comes to, you know, Blu-ray. She was also in Dumb and Dumber, which I know is a terrible movie, but for some reason, I always kind of liked that movie just because it was so bad. But, you know, at least they did, you know, have this one in there. Into Barnes & Noble we go. But in here today, Criterion released 2 things. That, one of them I ended up ordering on Amazon for the best price, but they released The Night of the Living Dead, and they released Silence of the Lambs on Blu-ray. The Night of the Living Dead, though, had like a brand new cut of the movie, like a work print. I don't think it was ever released, but I ended up getting that for like $18.99 on Amazon. But, you know, I have them holding the Silence of the Lamb one, so hopefully, you know, they put that one in the front. Yeah, so I ended up getting that Silence of the Lambs one in here, and they actually have a coupon on the website that I found. That's how I got it cheaper. It was 10% off. And it's kind of funny, like, you know, on Amazon this sells for like $25, but then like with the tax and everything, it ends up being like $27. So this ended up being $27 in there. So it's pretty much the exact same price as getting it on Amazon. So I just got it in person. And they also have a thing going on the Criterion website, which is like a 50% off sale. And I looked at that, but that with all the shipping and everything was like $26.99. So it's pretty much the exact same price either way I got it. But if you're buying a bunch of stuff, though, you know, from Criterion, they do have that sale going on. I think it's only today, so by the time this video is up, it'll have like a few hours left, I believe, a couple hours left. But like if you guys are going to get this in person in the store, definitely get that coupon, which I think lasts this week, like a 10% off one. And this past weekend I saw 2 different films. The first one I saw was the new Clint Eastwood film, the 1517 to Paris, and that was you know, the true story about the 3 guys who ended up saving you know, the passengers on the train from this gunman. It was a train that was going to Paris, and it kind of flashes back to when the kids first met in middle school, and then up until the point when they, you know, are on the train and then saving everyone from the gunman. And it was an interesting, you know, way it was done, because the actual guys who did, you know, save the day are actually acting in this movie as themselves. So it was kind of interesting, because I can't really think of any other movie where it was a movie that was like a reenactment or a retelling of a story where the actual people play the parts. Like the only other one I can think of that comes to my mind is, you know, Howard Stern and Howard Stern's Private Parts, you know, when he was playing himself. But, you know, let me know if you guys can think of any other movies where it was like that, where the actual people were playing the roles in it. But, you know, since the guys are not actors, you know, some parts of the movie felt, you know, a little bit unnatural. Other parts worked better than others. You know, it wasn't like the greatest acting, you know, because of that. But still, for guys that are not actors, I thought that they really did a good job in certain parts of it. And it makes you wonder, too, like, you know, because when it shows their trip to Europe, if like, you know, they actually, like the places that they went, you know, like say like the restaurants or the hotels and stuff, it makes you really wonder if these were the exact places that they went, or they kind of changed some of the stuff around for the movie. So that was one thing I was wondering about as well. The other movie that I saw was the film Peter Rabbit. which, that was based on the, classic book series. And I always remember that as a little kid, getting read those when I was a kid. So I was really familiar with this, the books. And I also thought it was kind of interesting too. They incorporated the animation of the books into a couple scenes throughout the movie, and like in the paintings and stuff. But essentially though, it's about, Peter Rabbit and his brothers and sisters who are always trying to get into this area where all the food is, like the garden, and the evil, the mean, farmer who's like always coming after them. And, he ends up dying in the beginning of the movie, and his, nephew comes in and, gets the land, inherits it. And then he's there, and he's even worse, and he's having all kinds of fights with Peter Rabbit and stuff. It's a really goofy, but actually pretty fun movie. I really liked it. It wasn't as good as, Paddington 2, which I thought was really, really well done. If you guys saw either of those movies, though, let me know, in the comments below what you guys thought of them, or what movies you guys saw this past weekend, if you guys got to see, anything. Into Best Buy we go. But in here, though, I don't see the new Hellraiser movie. It doesn't seem like they have that. It seems like the only place that carried that was Walmart, and they only had the DVD. But in the front, though, they had Wonder, and their copy, of the 4K was, actually way more money than it was at, at Walmart. So if you guys want that one, I would definitely recommend getting that, at Walmart. And they also had that Blade of the Immortal movie, and they had an exclusive, Steelbook edition of that one as well. But other than that in here, though, don't really see anything else in here too different today. Like I said, it was kind of surprising though that it doesn't at least look like this one got the new, Hellraiser movie. Yeah, it's funny though that like no one seemed to have the Hellraiser Blu-ray. Like I said, they only saw the Hellraiser, at all in Walmart, and only had the DVD. So if you guys want that one, I guess I would definitely say to, order that one online. Because like if you guys saw it though in any stores, in person, the Blu-ray, let me know, because I kind of liked it. But like I said, I'm going to be talking about that at the end of this video. So stay tuned for that review and a whole bunch of other reviews as well. Like I always say too, if you guys enjoy these videos, definitely give this video a thumbs up. Now stay tuned for some new DVD and Blu-ray reviews. And the first one I got here from Shout Factory's Scream Factory line. And this is a movie that I feel like a lot of people didn't know there was actually a sequel to. And it's the movie The Gate 2, which is like one, I had not seen this movie in a really, really long time. And it's actually a really fun movie. And it's a, pretty fun follow-up. It's a different feeling film. It has a really different vibe than the original movie, which was like a bunch of kids who ended up bringing this demon up with this record. And it's like a whole big to-do that goes on. This, though, is the one kid from the first film. And after, the demons came out of the ground and stuff, he was like always been obsessed with them and felt like he didn't do the rituals correctly, and if there was a whole lot more that could have been done. So he's like kind of always obsessed with this. So he goes back to where the house, where the demons came out were in the first film. So he goes back there, and it's like a couple of years later, and he's like thinking he's going to try it again. So he goes out there to do the ritual, and there's these other like teens out there. And they, they find out what he's doing, and they all, like, join in with him. He's, like, telling him what he's doing. So they join in the ritual. Of course, though, they do this, and they, it's pretty cool the way the ritual scene is done, too. But he ends up bringing up something from the ground again. And now it's pretty much, though, by doing this, you see one of the little demons back. And it sort of deals with, like, these, like, wishes. But, of course, though, the wishes, when things that you kind of wish for happen, there's always, like, a catch to them. So it becomes a whole big to-do in a situation. Everything keeps going wrong, and it's all kinds of problems in this movie. But like I said, it's actually a really pretty fun movie, and if you guys are fans of the Gate, like I said, it's not exactly the same feeling as the original film, a little different, but still a pretty cool movie here. It has on here, though, a brand new 2K scan of the film. It has some interviews in here with the crew, a video promo, and the theatrical trailer on this one. But, picture-wise, though, really, really good job, cleaning this one up. The next one here from Lionsgate. This is one I was really looking forward to seeing, and this is the brand new Hellraiser film, Hellraiser Judgment. And I have to say, I really actually, the last Hellraiser film, which came out a couple years back, I didn't absolutely love that one. It was okay. There was a couple things about it that were kind of interesting. This one, on the other hand, though, was really actually very cool. It's a different feel, though, than the other Hellraiser movies, because, like, this one is sort of like, a serial killer that's trying to beat these two cops, and then this one other woman comes in with them to try and help them track down this serial killer that's like a like a commandments killer, like, oh, like, thou shalt not do this, that, you know, that those kind of things. So he kills people in those kind of ways, and like is leaving clues and stuff like that. And it's basically though about them trying to find out where this, you know, this serial killer is. But then it cuts to, Pinhead going, we have to bring the wicked down, and we have to take them, you know, get all the wickeds from this world, and like all that kind of situation. So he's like, Pinhead's, you know, bringing people down to this one guy who's like the interviewer. He's a new character who like interviews the people with this like typewriter, and he has like these like cords connected to them, and he's asking the questions like, did you do this, and would you do this, and it kind of goes through this whole process of the interview. And then this, like, you know, John Gallagher's character, who's the director of Feast and stuff, he's in there playing this crazy role where he like eats the paper with the, you know, the interview questions, and eats them and sees if they're guilty and innocent. It's really kind of cool, and like I said, a different kind of a vibe, but it's one of those kind of things that's definitely like almost like gives you nightmares, because there's some very, very creepy imagery of the hell stuff going on in this, and like it goes to like crazy levels with this, and I like that. The hell level stuff was really, really pretty cool, and I like the guy, and he's actually the director, I believe, who plays the guy who's interviewing them. He was actually a really, really strong character in this. I like this, honestly. I thought it was kind of cool. I thought it was interesting, too, that they made it be like a police detective film trying to track down this killer. At the same time, though, it deals with, Pinhead and, like, the Cenobites and what they're doing and stuff. But honestly, if you guys are fans of the Hellraiser films, check this out. It's a new actor, though, playing. The last two movies, it's been a different actor. In this film and the one before, different actors playing Pinhead. But I thought the actor in this one, though, did a really, really good job playing, Pinhead. And has on here, though, deleted and extended scenes and a gag reel in this one. But if you guys have watched that one, though, let me know, your take on the film. This one I just finished watching now, and this is from Lionsgate as well, and A24. This movie was amazing. This stars, William Dafoe and Brooklyn Prince, and this is like her first film, and I believe she's going to be in Harmony Korine's new movie, which I can't wait to see her in that. But this movie here is called The Florida Project, and I'm somebody, who as a kid, so always go to Florida. I think since I was about like 7 years old, I was always going to Florida, going to Disney, when I lived in Maryland. And still, even like 3 or 4 years back, I was in Disney. I don't know, I always go to Disney here, but I used to always, as a kid, when I was on the East Coast, go to, Florida, so I know all the areas. So it's kind of cool watching this, because I'm like, oh yeah, this International Drive, and I went to that Golden Corral there, and I knew all these spots. But it's basically, though, about this mother and her daughter who are living in this kind of rundown hotel in Florida. And it's pretty much, though, they're living out of there, and then, like, the ones live downstairs neighbors, their friend, and her kid stays with her during the day, because she's working next door at the one restaurant. And then William Dafoe is the manager of the, the hotel, or the motel. And it's pretty much, though, about these kids who are kind of going out during the day, and kind of messing around, and kind of just sort of like, it's set during the summer, so they don't really have anything to do, so they're just kind of going out, kind of getting into trouble, doing kind of bad stuff out there, while the mom is kind of oblivious to everything. And William Dafoe's character is kind of trying to keep this hotel afloat, and the motel, trying to fix things up, and trying to just keep everything running smoothly. And he's trying to help people out, because people are staying there for extended periods of time because they don't have money to stay other places. And he's trying the best to kind of keep it under the table that these people are staying there. But it's one of those movies, though, it's an extremely emotional movie. Like, by the end of it, I was like very teared up in this film. But it was, performance-wise, though, William Dafoe was amazing in this. This is probably his best performance of all time, and I've always been a fan of him. But performance in this, though, he was so good. This movie is just such an amazing movie, you guys. If you like really well-made character pieces, just really pretty much just like the life of this mother and her daughter, and the kind of stuff that they're going through, and they have to buy perfume and to try and sell it to people at the fancy hotels, and all these kind of things that they're doing. It's just an extremely emotional but really, really well-made movie. Highly recommend you guys watch this one. This has on here, though, a making of on here, bloopers and outtakes, and cast and crew interviews. The next one here is Lionsgate as well, and this is the 4K Ultra HD edition of the Jeff Bridges film. He stars in with, Chris Pine and Ben Foster, Hell or High Water. This is, like I said, this is the brand new 4K edition of the film. This movie, though, this came out in 2000 and, I believe this was 2016. I think this was when this first came out, because I know it had like a lot of awards and stuff on it originally. I believe, though, it was, 2016. And, Jeff Bridges, I believe, had a nomination for this one. I can't remember for 100% certain though. But the movie though was a really, really well-made, kind of heist film about these two brothers who, sort of a heist type film about them robbing banks because this bank was going to foreclose on their property because they couldn't pay on it because of all these loans and all these problems. And the brothers come up with the idea though of going and actually robbing from the actual banks who are going to take their home away from them. So it's kind of them going from bank to bank trying to rob the banks. And it's, about Jeff Bridges' character as the police, the sheriff who is getting ready to retire, but he wants to go and, solve this case. And it's sort of him trying to outsmart them and figure out exactly where they are and where they're going and stuff like that. A very, very gritty, film. And 4K wise though, if you got, of course I always say, with 4K, the big thing is, the contrast levels and the brightness levels. And this is a very, very, it's set like in the kind of like the South area. So it's like really, really dusty and things like that. So really like, the 4K really brings out that kind of essence of that, the look and everything of that area. But a really, really well-made movie. Performance-wise, though, everyone did an amazing job in this one. If you guys have 4K, though, I would say this is definitely one to upgrade to. And it has the features, though, from the past Blu-ray release as well on this one. And the features are on the 4K one and the Blu-ray disc. This one here from Sony. This is an interesting one here called Resolution Song. This is like a film that's basically, though, about this family, and it's like something happened to one of the family members, and they're kind of in a bad situation. The father is very, very, like, terrible temper, and he's always yelling at everyone at the house, and, like, mistreating his son, and the one son is friends with the next door neighbor who's this girl, and they both kind of go together to sing at this place, work on songs and stuff like that. So they're kind of friends, but for some reason the father does not want them to see each other, and you kind of find out throughout this movie like what's going on. But it's pretty much though about them trying to, better their lives, their characters, and try and like do something with their music and stuff, but dealing with though their family life. And the one girl, her father is like has problems with pills and like addiction and stuff, so he's like a mess, and she's trying to figure out how to deal with him, and because her life has all kinds of problems because of her father. And it's just a really interesting kind of a religious faith-based type film here, though. I would say, though, if you guys like those type of films, though, check this one out here. The next one here from Paramount is the 4K edition here of Daddy's Home 2. And I actually really like the first movie. It's actually a pretty fun movie. If you guys don't know the film, it's about Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg, and, the one character, Mark Wahlberg was originally married to Will Ferrell's current wife, and, they got divorced, and now, Will Ferrell's come in there, and he's kind of taking care of the kids, and, Mark Wahlberg only can see them on the weekends and stuff like that. So there was a big scuffle between them because, Will Ferrell was the new father and the new husband, and, Mark Wahlberg was not happy about that, and they had all kinds of fights, and they were kind of, trying to outdo each other in the first film. But now this is them, and they've gone and, gotten along, and they've kind of put their differences aside. But now this is set during the holidays, and, their parents have actually come in. So Will Ferrell's dad, played by John Lithgow, comes in, and then Mark Wahlberg's father, played by Mel Gibson, comes in the town. And then Mel Gibson's like, you're, allowing, him to come along and be in here with your kids, and, you're okay with this, and, he took your ex-wife, and, you're all right. And he's kind of trying to stir the pot and stir up all kinds of problems. And it's basically about all of them going together and staying out in this cabin, out in the woods for Christmas and for the holidays. But then they're out there, and there's all sorts of little scuffles and little problems out there, and that, their parents are telling them they should do things this way, and you should do this, and this is what you normally do, and don't do that. That's not how things go in this house. And they're basically trying to cause all kind of problems, and their fathers are having problems with each other, and they're trying to, there's all kinds of wacky, weird stuff going on too with Will Ferrell and his father. Some really funny stuff, like about, like, does that hot cocoa make you go TT? And like, some really ridiculous, silly jokes and in this. But I actually really enjoyed this, and like I said, it includes on here the bonus copy, the digital copy of the first one, so if you guys haven't seen it, it includes a copy of that in here. But it has on here deleted and extended scenes, alternate scenes, making of, a gag reel on here, and a bunch of other featurettes as well, and 4K wise too. You know, this isn't like a real big poppy kind of movie like that, but detail wise and everything looks absolutely great. So definitely, if you guys have 4K, definitely worth getting the 4K edition. This one here is from Paramount as well. This is a movie here starring Greg Kinnear and Renee Zellweger called Same Kind of Different as Me. This is kind of interesting too, because this is Greg Kinnear and Renee Zellweger coming back together because they were in the movie Nurse Betty years back. So pretty cool to see them together again in a new movie. And, you know, I think this was Renee Zellweger's, because this took a little bit to come out, but this was like the first movie she did after having like been not acting for a number of years, like her first movie that she did when she came back to acting. This is basically, though, about, you know, their characters are married, they're having like relationship problems, and you know, Greg Kinnear's character, you know, admitted that he slept around with another woman, and Renee Zellweger is like really depressed about this, but they've had like kind of scuffles and disagreements in their life and haven't really got along for a number of years really, and kind of been very distant. And you know, Renee Zellweger has this dream that she kind of needs to help people and help somebody, so they go to this kind of mission and start to try and help people, like a Christian mission kind of place. But then they meet this one man, and it's kind of like he's a homeless man, and they kind of really want to help him, but he kind of can go off the rails and get kind of crazy, and there's some stuff going on with him, but they really, really want to help him. And it's kind of about them trying to help this guy, as well as sort of try and help their marriage, and kind of try and see if they can work things out and, you know, continue to be together. But if you guys like films like this, though, this has on here, though, a commentary track on here with the director, deleted and extended scenes, and then some featurettes on here, and there's a featurette as well about filming in Mississippi on this. These ones here are from Gravitas Ventures, and this one here is a movie here called Head Game. This is basically, it has sort of like a Saw kind of vibe, one of those kind of, and like a cube sort of thing when people are stuck in like one sort of setting trying to figure out what's going on, because it's about a group of these people who invited their dates with them, and then you know, they have like a bunch of different people, and then the people that they invited that their dates end up waking up in this like small kind of weird sort of warehousey type room. And they have these cameras screwed into their heads, and it's an interesting kind of thing, because I've seen, you know, there's been stuff like this, but never where they like screw the cameras actually into the people's heads. So it's a very like crazy kind of concept here. But then, you know, there's somebody watching the cameras, and it's the people in there, and it's like one of those sort of things where, you know, only one of them can, you know, live, and they kind of have to go through these tasks and, you know, kill each other and all kind of crazy stuff going on. And they're in there too, trying to figure out exactly why they're in there, what has happened. But if you guys like these kind of things, like I said, with Saw kind of vibes, you know, set in like one setting with like kind of like somebody watching, you don't know what all of it means, you know, definitely check this one out here. Pretty decent of these type of films. This one is from Gravitas Ventures as well. It's a movie here, you know, Eric Roberts is in this movie, called Days of Power. And this is an interesting one because it kind of like jumps around a little bit with like the time frame of when this is set. It's essentially though about this, musician that's like from another country who's like a really known, you know, international pop star, and she kind of comes to, you know, America to do this tour, and it's kind of touring around and stuff. But you see this weird setting with like these animals and kind of like a puppy mill kind of place with these two guys, and they're kind of up to no good, these bad guys. And you see like these girls like in cages and stuff. So you kind of, like I said, it kind of cuts around, so you kind of find out more and more as the movie goes along. But essentially though, it's about, you know, the tour that's going through. They end up kind of stopping off in this weird house, and they end up, you know, the one girl who's like the main, you know, the international star ends up just, you know, kind of going off, you know, with her dog, and ends up discovering this weird warehousey kind of area with these dogs and something that's up. And of course she sees this, and these guys end up like, you know, attacking her and then kidnapping her, and it's basically about the other bandmates and stuff getting taken in and trying to figure out how they're going to escape and stuff. And you know, it's like there's also some of the other ones that are like the backup singers that are kind of on their own trying to figure out where the other ones went. It's a pretty interesting kind of like crazy thing about them in this situation and trying to figure out, how they're going to get out of there. But if you like these kind of things, though, it's kind of, like I said, a crazy, like, rock band that kind of puts themselves into a situation. It's got, like, sort of like a Wolf Creek kind of vibe a little bit with, like, the guys and stuff. This one here, I was so excited to see this, and this is from, MPI and Dark Sky Films, and this is the new Hatchet film, Hatchet 4, Victor Crawley. Hey, Victor Crowley, and I really, really love this. And the thing, my favorite person in this was, Felissa Rose, best known for, Sleepaway Camp, and she has a great part in this. Like, her stuff in here is amazing. Really, really loved her in this movie. Tiffany Shepard's in this movie as well. It's basically, though, about, it takes place after, because like the first 3 movies were all kind of the same time span, and it's about the one survivor, the guy who was like, I'm pretty sure he was in all 3 of the movies, and it's pretty much him now writing a book, going on a book tour, talking about how he survived and wasn't killed by Victor Crowley and how he got away and everything. So he's going on this book tour, and it's Felissa Rose is his manager for the tour, and it also deals with a group of these people who are planning on trying to make a movie. They're kind of making a pitch trailer to try and get, like, investors and stuff to make a, movie about Victor Crowley, about the true story and stuff. And they want to get the guy who survived to try and sign off on it and maybe even act in the movie and, like, act in the trailer to bring up more money. But of course, though, what ends up happening, though, is, the guy who's doing the book tour gets invited to go back to where it all happened, and he ends up crash landing out there. And then, of course, something happens and somehow Victor Crowley is back, and they're all out there on the plane trying to survive and fight off the character. But it's like a crazy gore, and it wasn't like tons of deaths like in all the other ones, but what they did with the deaths were really, really well done. And the thing that I like too is it's all practical effects. It's not like there's no CGI gore or any of that, no like enhancements with CGI and added that stuff. It's all like crazy, old school 80s kind of gore and stuff. Has on here a commentary track on here with the director and the cast, as well as a technical commentary track on here. It has like an hour and like 10 minutes of behind the scenes stuff, so I always love that kind of stuff. So like I said, a bunch of different features on here as well. But if you guys are a fan of the Hatchet films, I didn't absolutely love part 3. I don't think that one was that good, to be honest. But this is definitely like tied with the first movie. And, hopefully they continue on to do more Hatchet films. This one here, and I'll put a link for you guys can get this one. And this is, for the best price and everything. This is a movie here called Tragedy Girls. And this is one I was really interested in seeing. I heard like a lot of really good, reviews and stuff about this. And a lot of people had posted about this movie. This movie, honestly, though, gets a top recommendation, too. I feel like it's a movie, too, not a whole lot of people may know about too, and it was absolutely amazing. Like, I love these kind of movies, and even has a death in here that I feel like was inspired by the original Toxic Avenger, the first Toxic Avenger film. And I'm not gonna say which the death was, but I feel like it was a total throwback to that film. It's basically, though, about these 2 girls who are obsessed with, like, death and horror movies and everything, and they kind of want to be popular, and they want to be, like, popular online. That's, like, their biggest goal is, like, to be social media stars. And in their town, though, somebody is, like, there's, like, a serial killer going around killing everybody, and, like, killing people off, and he has, like, a type and everything. But in the very beginning of this movie, these 2 girls track down the serial killer, and they kind of talk him in and saying, kidnap him and say, will you train us and teach us how to be serial killers? Because they have the goal of, like, kind of blaming, going out and killing people, and then having this guy kidnapped and teach them things, and then they can kind of like put the blame on him. That's kind of what they want to do. But it's essentially, though, about them not getting what they want with this guy. This happens at the very beginning of the movie, and them going out and trying to figure out how they're going to commit these murders. But it was really great. Like I said, really great throwbacks in here, gore-wise. I really, really love this. Both the girls did a really good job in this one. The one actress is from the X-Men films, and the other one is from Deadpool, and I believe she's in the new Deadpool as well. But this has a commentary track on this as well. But if you guys like, movies kind of like a mix of like Jawbreaker, Heathers, because both those movies were very similar, because Jawbreaker was almost like a remake of Heathers, like Mean Girls mixed with like a Know What You Did Last Summer kind of movie, mixed with like a old school slasher, kind of all together. That's the kind of vibe that it has. And the next one here from Severin Films is the film Eaten Alive, which is a cannibal film from the same director as Cannibal Ferox. I think this is kind of like a slightly underrated, like lesser talked about cannibal film. You know, I feel like you don't hear about this as often. Essentially, though, about this one girl whose sister has gone missing, and like these cannibals came over to America and like shot these people with these arrows, and these people died. But they found this film on one of them, and the police, you know, showed the film and realized that the one was a missing girl in the film, and it's the one sister's, you know, girl's sister, and it's kind of her going with this guy to try and track down, you know, where the sister is and figure out where she is, and it deals with like, you know, of course, like crazy cannibal stuff and this, you know, crazy cult and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. And, you know, it's not like as gory as like some of the other ones. It's still very, very gory, and it has all like the staple kind of stuff to the cannibal movies, and really, really cool synth music as well. Like I feel like, and then some of the synth music too, like, you know, got like, it's interesting too, like you kind of got reused in some other movies and stuff. And they always did that kind of stuff with Italian films, like you'd hear like pieces of the music and stuff in other movies and stuff. But it has on here though a director with the, you know, interview here with the director, documentary here on the Queen of Cannibal movies, interview here at the production design or archiver interviews on here, 2013 Q&A with the director on this one at the UK Festival of Fanatic Films. Also really love that it's a black case for this one. The next ones here are from Mill Creek. This one's here is called 100 Years of Horror, hosted by Christopher Lee, and I felt like I might have seen these ones like when I was a kid or something years ago. Might have been released on VHS or something. I don't know where I felt like I seen these, but it's basically Christopher Lee going. It's kind of him like talking about like popular kind of like genres of films like the Wolfman, the Mummy type movies, Hunchback movies, alien invasion type films, and it's pretty much just him like going, like it has like phantoms, witches, demons, scream queens, and it's sort of like each you know, 30-minute episode kind of like talks about them. It has like clips from the movies, it has like rare behind the scenes kind of home movie stuff. It's a pretty interesting thing if you guys are fans of this kind of stuff and you want to see like lots of clips from the movies, you know, facts, like interviews with some of the cast people, interviews with like film historians and stuff. It's a pretty well put together thing. Like I said, I don't know where it like originally played, you know, when it was made originally, but it's a pretty interesting thing here. The next one here is the complete series, the complete collection of The Kids in the Hall, and this is the uncensored version, and it includes the original pilot as well as the Death Comes to Town, which came out like, I don't remember when that was exactly. I think maybe it was 2008. Maybe, I don't know, maybe it was later than that. I can't remember. It was when the Kids in the Hall all came back together. But if you guys don't know, The Kids in the Hall was a sketch comedy series, and it was like, you know, all the guys like played every part in this. They all, and lots of the stuff was, there was the famous stuff was them in drag. That was like pretty much most of what it was. The majority of them in drag. And here's a little look though at the discs in here. You know, that's like in like little sleeves like this. But it has, you know, like I said, all 5 seasons as well as the original pilot. It has like a digital copy as well. I think my favorite sketch that they did a couple of different ones of in this show, you know, was the one when the woman was like sitting and looking out the window going, I keep thinking about Tony, where he is, what he's doing, where he's been, if he's thinking about me, or if he ever returned to me someday. I don't know, that was like my favorite one ever. It was just ridiculous. And of course, I'm squashing your head. That one. There's a lot of really, really great, you know, characters. And this also, they made the Kids in the Hall movie, Brain Candy. You know, if you know me, this is my kind of humor, especially like drag humor and stuff like that. But really great set of having all of them together like that. This one here is the Blu-ray of the original, the very first film, Benji film here. And then they're actually releasing 2, I think in a month or 2, the second Benji film. These are like, you know me, I love dog movies. Like my favorite dog movie is Bingo of all time. You know, Bingo, for some reason, like that's like my favorite one. Even though Homeward Bound and some of the other ones in like Bingo, Benji were like better films, Bingo was like always one of my all-time favorites. I watched that one so many times. But Benji is like a really great classic film about this dog and, you know, kind of rescuing these kids and stuff. It's just a really, really, really fun movie. And it has on here a whole bunch of features. It's got a brand new transfer on here, which looks amazing. They did a really, really great job cleaning up this film. It has a commentary track on here with Joe and Brendan Camp. It has a original theatrical trailer, behind the scenes featurette on here, but a really great release here. And like I said, really glad too they're releasing, you know, the second film. And I don't know for sure how many movies of Benji they made in total though. But I know even recently they made one not that long ago. The next one here is from Wild Eye Releasing, and it's a movie here called Pretty Fine Things. This has in here, though, Lynn Laramie is in this one, Andrew Davoff is in this film, and it's directed by Ryan Scott Weber, who I worked with years back on a movie called Mary Horror, which is a pretty fun movie. This is basically, though, the guy who played the sheriff in Mary Horror is in this playing this like crazy serial killer who's going around like renting out his house to women and always like searching for women to kill, and he plays like a really creepy, weird character and stuff in this one, lurking around and stuff, and his family kind of gets in on the whole act of what he's up to and stuff. And it's pretty much though about the cops, you know, trying to track down this guy and figure out who it is that's involved with like killing these women off and stuff. And if you guys like those kind of crazy like serial killer kind of like with wacky kind of stuff going on in it as well, check this one out here. It has on here though a commentary track, it has bloopers, cast interviews, and trailers on this one. The next one here, the director Tommy Fairclough sent a copy of this one. It's a movie here called Family Possessions. This has Felissa Rose, you know, has a part in this one. Mark Patton, who, you know, was in Nightmare on Elm Street 2. This was originally the first movie that he came back to do after, you know, he hadn't acted in years and years and years and came back. His stuff in this is amazing. He plays the guy who runs the coffee shop, and there's like this like mean girl character that works with him, and they're always like kind of talking trash on everybody and like kind of giving everyone crap and having like weird stuff to say about everyone. There could almost be an entire movie of those two characters kind of just like working this coffee shop, giving everybody problems and stuff. But it's basically though about this girl who moves into the house, you know, her grandmother's house, because her grandmother passed away and left the house to the family. But there's like a really weird condition to it where, you know, they can't have the house unless the girl moves in the house. If the girl like leaves the house, the house gets sold off. And so it's basically like the family is having all kinds of financial problems, and the girl is getting ready to go to college, but they're like, listen, can you just try and go to college around here? We really need this place. We don't have the money. We need this house. This is like a life-saving situation for us. Please just make this work and try and be here. But of course, though, some like weird stuff's going on in this house, and she starts seeing weird things, and people around the town are saying, don't you know your grandmother was a witch? And they start talking all about her and saying all this kind of stuff, and she's sort of trying to figure out exactly what's going on and like what the grandmother was up to and like why she's sort of seeing things in this house. But a pretty interesting thing. Like I said, really loved the stuff with Mark Patton in here. It was really, really great, kind of crazy stuff. The next one here is from Altered Innocence. It's a movie here called Sleeping Giant. This is a movie about these kids, and it's pretty much like about a group of these kids that are kind of like during the summer are kind of messing around. They're going out kind of like causing all kinds of mischief and breaking things and sort of screwing around and everything. And it's just kind of like a character piece about these kids and like what they're doing. And they're like kind of like them trying to get girls and like, but then there's like some interesting stuff going on too. Like the one father starts to kind of like, you know, who's kind of neglects his own son, is start talking to the one kid, because the one kid is like, he's like there for the summer and stuff. So it's kind of like all these kind of like inner family problems going on, and that's sort of what it is. It's just kind of like a really well done film about, you know, kids messing around during the summer and all the kind of mischief, and it's kind of got a lot of other themes and stuff going on in it as well. But that's essentially, you know, what it is. It has on here though the original short film. It has a Cannes featurette on here, outtakes, and then theatrical trailer on this. The next one's here, and I'm going to put a link for the Facebook page, so if you guys are interested in picking these ones up. It's two different movies here. The first one here, they're both from the same director here, and this one is called Fireside Tales. This is an anthology film about a group of friends that get together out in the middle of the desert to tell like horror stories and stuff. And that's pretty much what it is, and it's like, I think it was 3 or 4 different stories, and one of them was like a sort of like a creature at the lake, kind of like Jason killing off people. The other one was like a weird Leatherface kind of guy that was like taking people's faces. I can't remember what the other ones were as well though, but like the Jason one was really good, like this weird Jason kind of guy coming after people at the lake and stuff. But if you guys like, you know, indie kind of, you know, anthology kind of horror movies, check this one out. The other one here, like I said, is from the same director. It's his latest film here. Both of them too, I love the artwork on these, especially the Monkey Farm one. This one's called Monkey Farm, and this is about a group of these guys making a documentary on like animal testing and kind of the weird animal kind of testing stuff that goes on in like animal testing facilities. And they're kind of talking to like people about it, people who have been in the industry and kind of know about inside facts and stuff. And they find out about this one abandoned facility where things had happened. So they go there with like cameras and stuff and like want to do this like kind of documentary about the area and going in there. So they go in there at night. Of course, though, they go in there and then weird things start to happen. They kind of, it wasn't a smart decision, you know, going out there and investigating this. Sort of has like a, you know, Blair Witchy kind of found footage, kind of creepy vibe to this one. It has like interviews with people around the area and stuff, you know, asking them what they know about the facility and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I'll put a link though below for the Facebook page if you guys are interested in, you know, checking those ones out and seeing the trailers and all that kind of stuff. Anyway though, guys, that's all for the review portion of this video. Thanks again for watching and subscribing. I'll see you guys later.